Peter's Love Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready, Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday.
Hey, welcome in. We're ready to kick off a Friday edition of the show. And as soon as the music starts, we'll start. You won't believe the story we have to lead today. Oh, Franklin County. You're an endless supply of stupid. All right, I hear the music. Here we go. Thanks for joining. Welcome in, Friday edition, Bruce Hooley Show. Got my day straight. Yeah, I never underestimate or mislabel a Friday. Got a little confused earlier in the week. Thought Wednesday was Tuesday. It's better to confuse Tuesday with Wednesday than to confuse Wednesday with Tuesday. Friday, I'm happy about it. Not only because it's the end of the week and I look forward to the weekend, as I'm sure you do too, but happy to be with you today because, boy, the story we have to start with today is, it's not an all-timer because no stranger to those of you who are regular Bruce Hooley Show listeners, that Franklin County never seems to run out of crazy things. That could be because, in fact, I would say it is because, everybody in Franklin County who holds any office of consequence is a Democrat. Our Franklin County commissioners gave $50,000 to the Pride Parade upcoming in June. Our Franklin County Common Police Court lets out guys who have violently attacked girlfriends, gives them a stern lecture, lets them out, doesn't put them behind bars, saying they have confidence in them, only to have people like that find another girlfriend, murder her and her unborn child. So I'm probably guilty of thinking that we've reached peak stupidity in Franklin County. But today's story that I will lead with regarding Franklin County Treasurer Cheryl Brooks Sullivan, it doesn't top them all. It just teaches me that I should never underestimate Franklin County and what it is capable of. So, never met this woman. Don't know about her. Don't know anything about her other than what is in Jordan Laird's story in the Dispatch today. But I'm just going to say, if you've declared bankruptcy 3 times and somebody is trying to foreclose on your home, you probably lack some of the requisite characteristics, some of the requisite abilities, requirements to be the steward of the Franklin County budget. That's just me talking. I mean, I suppose you could be horrendous at managing your own personal finances, but be just fine stewarding the finances of an entire county. In fact, I think it's the most populous county in the state of Ohio. But let's just go through it, right? Cheryl Brooks Sullivan is tied up in an ongoing legal battle with her bank, which is trying to foreclose on her home. Why? Why would they be trying to foreclose on her home? Because she failed to pay her mortgage. Now, if you don't know, the Franklin County Treasurer is responsible for collecting all the taxes and managing the county's investment portfolio worth more than $1 billion. That's a lot of money to give to somebody who can't make their own house payment and who has declared bankruptcy 3 times. That's a value judgment. Maybe it's okay. Well, it's obviously okay with the voters of Franklin County because she got elected overwhelmingly in the fall. Of course she did, because no Republican ran against her. Okay, how much does she make a year? She makes about $100,000 a year. Now, that's not exorbitant wages. Did she overbuy? Did she buy a house that's clearly more than she could afford? She gone through a divorce, second income, husband's income, no longer part. The house she purchased in 2018 was $315,000. Now, that's an okay home. It's a nice home. It's probably an above average home. But there are many, many homes sell for more than that in Franklin County. So I don't think she overbought. I think she bought prudently. For whatever reason, she has not made payments on that. Oh, here's the reason. Her mother died suddenly. That's very sad. It is very sad. I'm being totally serious. very suddenly in October of 2019. She bought the home in 2018. And her mother's death, she contends, Miss Sullivan contends, caused her to assume a role with the family that her mother had occupied for the entirety of Miss Sullivan's life. That put her under financial strain, and so she went to her bank. She did the right thing. She went to her bank and asked for a little leeway, a little grace. And apparently they could not work things out with the bank. And she went to court, and she lost in September of 2024. Common Pleas Court Judge Jiza Page granted the bank's motion for summary judgment, allowing the bank to foreclose. However, Ms. Sullivan appealed, and we're going to have a jury trial in August of this upcoming year to determine whether the bank violated state and federal law designed to protect consumers. Now, I will give her credit for one thing. I will give her credit that because she has access to $1 billion in tax revenue and the county's assets that she manages, I will give her credit that it does not appear that there is any even hint of financial misappropriation here. That would be very easy. That would be tempting, right? You need some money. Oh, look at this. Over here at work, I've got $1 billion that I could, drop from column A into column B, and column B just happens to be my personal finances. So she appears to be a woman who has some integrity. But there's a thing that when you're in public office that I think you need to have. If you want to serve in public office, you need to have the public's trust, don't you? I don't know how the Democratic Party of Franklin County, I'm going to speak to them, okay? I don't blame this lady for wanting to work. I find that admirable, but what is wrong? Oh, I don't have time to answer that question in its entirety. In this case, I'll specify it. Take a little time. In this case, what is wrong with the Democratic Party of Franklin County, who could literally put any body on the ballot for treasurer of Franklin County, put the magic D next to their name, and get them elected? This person is the best person you can find with her less than stellar financial background, particularly given the fact that the Dispatch reports that when Miss Brooks Sullivan first became treasurer in 2017, the county struggled to buy bond insurance for her and had to pay extra. Why would that be? Why would they have to pay extra for bond insurance for their new treasurer? Oh, here it is. Because she was previously convicted of a felony in 1997. I'm all about rehabbing convicted felons. But I don't think it's wise to give a previously convicted felon access to $1 billion in county assets. I just don't think it is, right? I think you need a treasurer. You need somebody who's above reproach, who, again, has the public trust. It says here in the Dispatch story that she and her ex-husband filed for bankruptcy 3 times. That's right. We have a Franklin County treasurer who has been convicted of a felony and has filed for bankruptcy 3 times, most recently in 2011. Apparently she got her financial act together. This is the classic Democratic sentence right here. I'll just quote it right out of Jordan Laird's story. When she took office, Brooks Sullivan readily acknowledged her past, but said that's not who she is now. Well, so she took office in 2017, and she said then that that's not who she is now being 2017. And then she purchased a home in 2018, and she's been unable to make the payments on it since then. It sounds to me like she still is who she's pretty much always been when it came to her finances. Now, Ted Berry is a Republican, a Grove City council member who ran against Brooks Sullivan in 2016, not in the last election. And Ted Berry, it takes a lot to surprise Ted. He says he is not shocked by what has happened. Here's his quote. I knew there was a problem early on with her ability to handle money. It's unfortunate that happened to her, but in my book, elected officials have to be a bar above. Unfortunately, people who aren't looking at candidates' credentials, depending on where you live in Ohio, if you flash the D or the R, you get elected or you don't. Yes, Brooke Sullivan was handily elected in November to her third term as Franklin County Treasurer because the Republicans have given up in Franklin County. They didn't even run anyone against her. There was a libertarian running against her who probably tried to point out the fact that she'd been convicted of a felony and had declared bankruptcy 3 times and wasn't making the payments on her own. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in Franklin County because, like Bill Maher says of Jasmine Crockett, she wears the magic armor. Jasmine Crockett's armor is a little different. Well, than Brooke Sullivan's. Jasmine Crockett's armor is that she's a black woman. Brooke Sullivan, I don't know her race. Her race is irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant to me is she clearly does not have the background in stewarding finances that should allow her to have access to $1 billion in the Franklin County portfolio or to be the person in charge of the county's money. But she is, because she's a Democrat.
Cloudy and cool for Saturday. High tomorrow 53. Sunday, clouds and sun. High 59. Cloudy and breezy on Monday with occasional rain and a thunderstorm. The high near 70. And for Tuesday, turning colder with clouds. The high 49. I'm Andy Robb on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
But wait, there's more. That's probably the best way to describe all the delicious offerings from Dad's Conies and Wraps. Oh, sure, Dad still makes the best conies in the city, but the menu has so much more. There's the roast beef sandwich, their famous burrito wraps, Dad's cheeseburger and Sada cheeseburger, fish and chicken sandwiches, even a veggie dog. But wait, there is more. You just have to stop by for lunch or dinner. Dad's Conies and Wraps in the Graceland Shopping Center. Order online at dadsconiesandwraps.com. And as they like to say, we're not fast food. We are fresh food made as fast as we can.
Coverage varies by plan. See contract and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-289-6016. That's 800-289-6016. 800-289-6016.
Your dog's diet should be as colorful as yours. Dr. Fido's is a dog food topper made with 40 ingredients made from whole foods, designed to enrich your dog's diet with a variety of fruits, vegetables, spices, and fibers. And the best part, just stir into their food and you're done. It's that easy. Go to drfidos.com and subscribe now to save $20 each month. Vet developed, dog trusted. This is the human-grade dog food chopper that gives you peace of mind. Don't just take our word for it.
She's an Australian cattle dog on the farm. She's been used to work cattle and lots of miles under her feet. And she is happier on the Dr. Fido's. I've been super impressed with it.
Don't let your dog miss out. Go to drfidos.com today and subscribe now to save $20 each month. That's drphytos.com.
I'm CPA Brad Henneberg with Premier Tax CPAs. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter, so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
Mega sale at mypillow.com continues. You can benefit by getting Giza Dream bed sheets in any size, any color. So if you've got a queen size bed, a king size bed, a California king size bed, a full size bed, a twin size bed, you can save money and get your Giza Dream bed sheets in any size or any color. You get about $40 off. Great deal. Also, the My Cross. That's the newest product from MyPillow. My Cross, Mike Lindell wears it. You see him on every commercial and every interview, sporting that beautiful cross. Ladies, a little jealous. You're like, well, that cross is a little too big for me. Don't worry. Mike Lindell made one in a woman's style with a more delicate chain. It will look perfect with whatever you wear, and we'll give you the opportunity to advertise your Christian faith the way Mike Lindell does. Now, standard MyPillows, under $15. The King and Queen MyPillow, under $20. 6-piece bath and kitchen towel sets are under $30. That's why they call it the Mega Sale at MyPillow. The Mega Sale 2.0. Use my promo code, Bruce, to get those discount prices. Promo code Bruce at mypillow.com. I feel a little guilty. No, not about what I said about insisting that the treasurer of Franklin County need to not have been convicted of a felony previously or having declared bankruptcy 3 times. I disparage Franklin County Common Pleas Court, which is a collection of many bad judges, but they sometimes get it right. Certainly, Common Pleas Court Judge Stephen McIntosh got it right when he ruled that Dr. William Husel's lawsuit against Mount Carmel Health Systems can go forward. And I say Mount Carmel, William Husel. Why do I know that? Yes. William Husel was the doctor who Mount Carmel tried to pin multiple deaths on when people began dying due to pain-killing medical overdoses. This was like 2019, I think. No, it was 2018, December of 2018. So Husel was acquitted in court, right? When this case first happened, the overwhelming sentiment of the public was that William Husel was a rogue doctor who had given, because this is the narrative that Mount Carmel drove, they didn't want to be responsible for it, right? So they're going to try to pin everything on Dr. Husel. It was their PR strategy. I do not know Dr. Husel, okay? I know people who know him. I know people who worked at Mount Carmel at that time. Now let's just go through the process here of how things work in a hospital. You are a nurse on duty. You get an order from a doctor to administer X medication to a patient. Are you going to look at that, and are you, as a nurse or an aide, are you going to say, I don't really think that doctor knows what he's doing. I'm not going to give him that much. That seems like a lot. Or are you going to say, I don't have medical expertise in this. My job is to execute the orders the doctor issues. I'm going to execute the order. The latter, of course, is what you are going to do. Mount Carmel was extremely punitive against anybody in its health system who it could pin any plausible vestige of any possible case regarding William Husel. Why? They went into maximum CYA mode. And the more people they fired, the more people they could say, see, their fault. Not us, not our fault. And that can, of course, be the case if you have a rogue doctor who is overprescribing medication. But I'll just tell you, as the voice of someone who has been in a situation where a loved one, in this case it was my father, had a catastrophic health situation occur, a ruptured aorta. It did not kill him immediately, but it was going to take his life. We knew that. We knew that when it was assessed. He was not a candidate for further heart surgery. He had already outlived the timeline, shelf life, whatever you want to say, of his open heart surgery years before. He was overweight. He would not have survived the surgery. We knew my father was going to die. We had a couple hours from the time he suffered the catastrophic health event until the Lord took him home. Probably 12-ish hours. I spent the night with my father. He was in excruciating pain. Even so, he was witnessing about his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to the people who came into his room, to the doctors, to the nurses. Do you know my friend Jesus Christ? That was my dad. That was my dad's last cognitive thoughts. And the doctor came in and he didn't want to tell me what was really going on. And I said, look, my father and I don't have anything left unsaid between us. My father knows where he's going and he's looking forward to going there. The only regret he has is that he's leaving my mom. But here's what I want you to do, doctor. I want you to get my dad out of pain. And whatever it takes to get my father out of pain, you do that. And I know they gave my dad a lot of drugs. And after some very long hours of torment, he finally settled into a sleep about 2 in the morning, and he finally died about 11 o'clock, 9 hours later. I didn't blame the doctor. I don't care how much fentanyl was in his system. I wanted that fentanyl in his system. I wanted my dad at peace. Maybe some of these other cases are like that. And to me, knowing someone who was on the inside of this, someone whose life was upended by Mount Carmel being punitive, someone who had become a healthcare worker later on in life, long after college, went back to school, his family sacrificed. I went and walked through those years with him of no income, but when I get to become a nurse, and this guy was a phenomenal nurse. And because a lottery of bad luck came up and had him on shifts where Dr. William Husel worked, this guy lost his job and lost his career because nobody else would hire him or anyone else from Mount Carmel who was attached at all to the stink of William Husel, who I remind you was not guilty. Not guilty. So I'm glad that Stephen McIntosh allowed this lawsuit to go forward, and Mount Carmel's got the money to pay. Have you been up on 270 lately? 270 in Sawmill? You're heading west? Do you notice anything new on the horizon up there? Oh, yeah, right. A humongous Mount Carmel hospital. They've got the money. They owe a lot more people than William Husel a large settlement for the way they cowardly tried to pin this case on him. So I'm glad Stephen McIntosh is letting this case go forward. And it is headed toward a jury trial. They're going to have a really hard time finding a jury. And I just contributed to how difficult it's going to be to find an impartial jury, because if you heard what I just said right now, you clearly know whose side I'm on in this. And if you were following this case for the better part of the initial year and a half of it, you probably have your mind made up that William Husel got away with murder. So I want the truth to come out on this, but in my belief, the truth has already come out about William Husel's responsibility for these deaths.
China firing another volley in its trade war with the U.S. Beijing says that starting tomorrow, it will boost its tariffs on American goods to 125%. A small plane has crashed, bursting into flames alongside a busy highway near the airport in Boca Raton, Florida. In New York, a family of 5 from Spain and the pilot are dead after their New York City sightseeing helicopter crashed into the Hudson River yesterday. It plunged into the water just off Jersey City, New Jersey. It's been an up and down day on Wall Street right now. The Dow is down about 236 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index off 53. More details at srnnews.com.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 8. Weekday afternoons from 5 to 6. Tune into The Windsor Report with Jack Windsor, Central Ohio's top drive-time show on politics, policy, and personalities. On your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Two things that hit a family budget the hardest: the price of gas and of groceries. Let us ease that pain at the pump when you enter the Gas and Groceries giveaway. Back for the 3rd straight year, the grand prize winner gets $2,500 in gas and groceries gift cards. 2 first prize winners will each get $500 in gift cards. That could be you, so enter today.
Increase your chances by entering once a day at 98.9.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Give my office a call. I guarantee we take you as a client, get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-919-1441. 800-919-1441. 800-919-1441. News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also, your smart speakers, TuneIn or iHeart.
We are all about helping you out and helping you live your regular, normal life in the best possible way where you can save money and gain the best bargains possible. That's why we are bringing back the Gas and Groceries Giveaway Sweepstakes. We know it's a tough time for a lot of people in our economy, so we thought we'd give you a way to help pay for your gas and for your groceries, not having to pay as much as you did under Joe Biden, but you're still having to pay a significant amount of your income. So go to 989theanswer.com once each day and register to be the grand prize winner, which would give you $2,500 in gas and groceries gift cards. Now we'll have 2 other winners as well. They'll get $500 in gift cards for gas and groceries. I know it's not as much as $2,500, but hey, every little bit helps, and $500 is not exactly a little bit. So you can also get bonus entries per day by completing optional entry activities. Where does it all happen? You know where. 989theanswer.com. Now, not only did Franklin County Common Pleas Court come up big on the matter of William Husel's lawsuit going forward, rather. But it also came up big in allowing Ohio State wrestler, I should say retired Ohio State wrestler, Sammy Sasso, to speak yesterday in court at the sentencing of the now 18-year-old boy who shot Sammy Sasso in the belly unprovoked in August of 2023. Okay, so I got to admit my prejudice here up front, all right? I know Sammy. To know Sammy is to like Sammy. I'm friends with and a big fan of some of the Ohio State wrestlers. I'm a friend of, as many of you know, who came to our men's event last year, Ohio State wrestling coach Tom Ryan. So this hit home, close to home, and hit hard when Sammy Sasso, a two-time national runner-up in wrestling, was shot in the summer of 2023 for the crime of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. This kid who shot him had an extensive criminal record, as did the girl he was with. And the girl he was with, I was trying to find out her criminal record online here. I wrote a blog about it a while ago. I can't find it quickly, but she had like a lot of brushes with the law, and she shouldn't have been out on the street, nor should this kid. His name is Elijah Lee, who shot Sammy Sasso. He did it, Elijah Lee, to impress his girlfriend. Yeah, we've gotten at a point in our culture where some young men deem it to be a way to impress a girl to shoot a completely innocent and unsuspecting person in the belly, leave them to die in the street, then steal their car and joyride it across town. And if you're wondering, maybe Sammy Sasso had a fancy car. No, he had like a 10-year-old Chevy Malibu. Okay. Quarterbacks at Ohio State drive $250,000 cars. Wrestlers get no money. There are, I would guess, on the Ohio State football team, there are 40 to 50 players, maybe more, who make more in NIL money than the most accomplished Ohio State wrestler, which Sammy Sasso was, and which Jesse Mendez now is, with 2 national championships. But at any rate, Sammy Sasso got the chance to stand up in court yesterday. Now, let me just take you through the medical journey that Sammy has walked before he, this year, realized that his body was never going to function the way it functioned before. Sammy Sasso was a rubber man, okay? You'd get Sammy Sasso in a hold where he'd look like, that's curtains for Sammy. He would not only get out of peril, his legs would bend in ways that human legs don't bend. His mind, his discipline, his devotion to his sport, to his craft, which he had perfected over a lifetime, allowed him to be supremely elite. And to be supremely elite in wrestling requires tremendous amounts, more than the average normal human can even comprehend. You have to devote yourself to dietary discipline, to workout discipline, to mental discipline, all those things. All taken away from him, stolen from him violently by a kid who thought if he shot Sammy Sasso, a person he did not know, well, that'll really impress this girl. Yeah, idiotic. So Sasso almost died, took him to the hospital, did a repair of his colon where the bullet tore through, had to go back in and do surgery the next day because they realized the bullet had lodged very close to his spine. He had spinal fusion surgery. Here's Sammy Sasso talking about what the doctors told him. This is his statement in court yesterday. What the doctors told him after he woke up from his second surgery the day after he had been shot.
When I woke up from that surgery, the surgeon told me that I'd be up and walking out of here in 7 days. I gasped in disbelief because how severe the injuries were. And I also couldn't feel my left leg. He swore up and down, he could be walking out of here, no crutches, no wheelchair, no walker in 7 days. And after about 3 days of me telling him that I can't feel my left leg, nor can I move it, he sits me down and says that there's been severe nerve damage from your L3 nerve running down to your left leg, and you might never walk again. So I went from walking out of here in 7 days to maybe never walking again. Yeah, that was a tough day.
And there'd be a lot of tough days ahead. I've been over to Ohio State practice. I watched Sammy when he was still trying to come back. It was a race against time. They thought his nerve and his leg would regenerate and he might be able to become the old Sammy. It wasn't happening. He had to wrestle much heavier than he otherwise would have had to, because when you're off and you're not training every day, you gain weight. Those of us who prayed and hoped that, this story would have an amazing finish, it just didn't. He had to retire. He realized he could never be what he was before. And he's at peace with that. I don't want you to think he's miserable. He's not. He's a man of faith. He's not miserable. And, well, you'll know when you hear the final part of Sammy Sasso's statement in court yesterday.
One positive was the outpour of support and love that I received from the wrestling community, the community at Ohio State, students, faculty, alumni, the community of Columbus, just the outpour of love and support that they gave me, and all the nice things that people reached out to me and said, and how my story had inspired them to just keep pushing and do better. Yeah, that was something else. I've never felt that type of love before from so many different people, a lot of people that I didn't even know. And that meant a lot to me. It's been tough, but I'm here today just hoping to just put this behind me and move forward with my life. And I just wish the best for Mr. Lee. And, truthfully, I hope that everything with him works out. And yeah, it's been a long road, and I hope today to just put it all behind me and move forward. So thank you for allowing me to come up and speak, Your Honor.
Nothing Sammy said surprised me. He's a polite young man. He's a respectful young man. Unfortunately, he encountered a different young man who was not. Elijah Lee will serve between 10 and 14 and a half years in prison. That is thanks to a prudent decision by Franklin County Juvenile Court Judge Monica Hawkins, who had the good sense to insist that Mr. Lee be tried as an adult. He was 17 years old when this happened. He had been released from the Ohio Department of Youth Services on parole 5 days before he shot Sammy Sasso. And again, he had a long criminal record, car theft, other things. Mr. Lee's parent, Cecil Brown, identified himself as Mr. Lee's father, said this in court yesterday. He's not a bad person. I know a lot of parents say that about their kids. And then this, I don't know what he meant by this. It's curious. Students, athletes, there's an arrogancy on campus that's happening as I speak. Elijah never had a gun. The worst Elijah would do is being caught with a stolen car. Oh, well, there's high praise. Your son, a juvenile, being caught with a stolen car. He didn't have a gun. What, did he shoot him with his finger? No, he had a gun. What are you talking about? What does it matter if students and athletes on campus are arrogant? Yeah, I don't like NIL either. I didn't give your son the right to shoot a high-achieving guy who's made every right decision in his life and has dreams and has worked for those dreams and sacrificed for those dreams, to steal them away from him. And we wonder why. We wonder why kids act this way. You have parents who enable them like that.
And cool this afternoon, high 47. Tonight, mainly clear skies, chilly, low 32. Cloudy and cool for Saturday, high tomorrow 53. Sunday, cloudy.
and he was dedicated, and he just was a machine. And he just had it all taken away from him. So unfair. So incredibly unfair.
Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
No. What's up? Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids, where families find answers.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready, Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2, Retire Ready, Ohio, with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
Before you list with someone else, call Ross Realtors. Ross Realtors will sell your home. It won't be listed long. Low listing fees, put your mind at ease. Tell me, how could you go wrong? Before you list with someone else, call Ross Realtors.
Are you thinking about selling your house and need help getting it ready? Hi, this is Ross DiGiorgio of Ross Realtors. I will buy your house for cash. What? That's right, I'll buy your house for cash, as is and where is. That means no inspections, no financing. Take what you want and leave the rest. Call Ross Realtors 614-599-6100. So don't worry about all those people calling you asking if you want to sell your house or all those postcards you receive in the mail. Call Ross Realtors 614-599-6100. That's 614-599-6100. Cash for your home.
Before you list with someone else, call Ross Realtors.
If the amazing regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics provided relief for former pro football player Bobby Carpenter, imagine the potential for your aching joints.
So my knee had been bothering me for a while. I played football for a number of years. I looked at talking to some doctors when I need to potentially have surgery, and I decided, like, hey, let's check out QC Kinetics. I go in there, and they look at the knee. Hey, here's the program that we can put you through.
That treatment takes your body's own healing properties and concentrates them at the root of the pain. No surgery or downtime.
The best part was there's no recovery until one day I felt like, hey, this feels like my old self again. I feel better. It's helped me. It's helped my dad. Hopefully it will help you in the same way. My message to them is do not wait. So you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Take it from Bobby Carpenter. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
I am headed to Lancaster today after my show. Why? Well, because I'm going down there to see a wonderful guy who is doing a home remodeling project, and I'm going to help him with the flooring. He and his wife are delightful people. They've already selected their products, and I can't wait to see how they're going to fit them into their new space. It's not a new home. It's just an expanded home. We can handle any situation at brucehooley.com. Click flooring. If you're a commercial business and you need new commercial carpet or luxury vinyl plank flooring, durable, scratch-proof, waterproof, whatever it is, just finished an order with a municipality to do one of their facilities, and they have another one that I'm going to look at next week. Can't wait to do that. I have some wonderful clients in Lewis Center who I met with the other day, and in a couple orders that were completed this week. I appreciate your business. I do first and foremost. Really appreciate your business. I love getting to meet you. And I love saving you money and getting your products in sooner and offering you the same products you can get elsewhere. You can make that all happen by going to brucehooley.com and clicking flooring. brucehooley.com, click flooring. I think I've set a record today. We've gone 45 minutes and I haven't. Did I mention the word tariff even once? No, but I will mention it this afternoon, or rather this evening. 6 o'clock, Aptus Retirement Blueprint Radio Show. Josh Pick will be in today, and we will talk about tariffs. We will talk about the bond market. We will talk about the stock market. We'll have the latest numbers for you. What is the stock market doing right now? Okay, well, we're mixed. We are up very slightly in the S&P 500. We are down very slightly in the Dow, and we're up a little bit more than slightly in the NASDAQ. So yesterday, we were down a lot. Weird. The Dow shed more than 1,000 points. S&P down 3.5%. NASDAQ down 4.3%. Why? Didn't Trump pause the tariffs? Yes, he did. He paused the tariffs. And then China retaliated. He said, don't retaliate. He paused the tariffs on countries that did not retaliate. China retaliated, so he juiced his tariff to 125%. China says, I'll call that, and I'll raise the tariff 145%. So this is a bummer. This is a real bummer. Because I was planning, I didn't tell my kids this, I didn't want to get them overly excited. I was planning to put in a new swimming pool at the house this summer. I saw on Temu, the Chinese discount site, that I could get an outdoor pool for $19.99. Yes, Temu has bargains like that. Now I'll have to pay, what, $49.99 with the tariff? I'm not buying anything from Temu, okay? I don't allow my kids to buy anything from Temu. I don't allow my kids on TikTok. I'm not a fan of China. And I'm not going to help China. I'm not going to give China my data. They probably have ways of ferreting it out and getting it, probably through Chinese students who are here already doing nefarious work and reporting it back to their government overlords in China. But here is how nefarious China is. Listen to this interchange yesterday on Capitol Hill. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, was on Capitol Hill yesterday testifying about China. Florida Senator Rick Scott was asking Kevin O'Leary questions, and Rick Scott brought up a company you've probably heard of, seen, or perhaps patronized. How many of you have WeatherTech floor mats in your vehicle? WeatherTech floor mats, right? You've seen the WeatherTech commercials? Seen them on Fox? What is great about WeatherTech? First of all, they're really good floor mats, right? They collect the snow and the ice when it melts, and you don't get it all over the carpet in your car. And they have a lot of cool products. And they're American made, right? They're American made. Well, are they? Are you sure you even really have WeatherTech products in your car? Give a listen. Rick Scott, Kevin O'Leary.
Mr. O'Leary, what if there was a company called WeatherTech? You know, and they produce really nice mats for the car.
I have them in my F-150.
And they woke up one day and they looked on Alibaba and they saw that their products were being sold on Alibaba. And they looked at their shipping, and they never had done any business with Alibaba. And they looked just like the mats that they produced in Illinois, and they even had their name on it, right? What could they do to stop this theft of their product? And they got nothing for it. What would be their recourse right now?
There is nothing they can do. You have just told the story of 1 million small businesses in America over the last 20 years. They innovate, they create, they're entrepreneurs, they prove their product in the American consumer market at around 5 million in sales. They're knocked off. By whom? China. Very often, the same plants that ran the molds under a relationship they had with the company. A lot of companies went to China 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and put their molds there. And during the day, the company would run the WeatherTech mat, in this example, theoretically. And then at night, they'd run the knockoff mat. And they would bring it into the market, and let me guess, 30% off retail of WeatherTech. And I've seen this happen countless times. And in some cases where the company's very small, they go out of business. Nobody hears that tree falling in the forest. It happens thousands of times.
So that is why some trade wars, this one with China, is worth winning, because they've gotten rich. They've gotten rich off American consumers buying their products. They've gotten rich off stealing American innovation and putting it out on the market, masquerading it as American made when it's not American made. I thought that was an interesting view, a window into how China operates. And again, China's got an advantage in that they don't have to be answering to their people. They starve their people. What happens? Nothing. Nothing happens to Xi Jinping. They're obsessing today on Wall Street about consumer sentiment, and they're delighting in it. Of course, at Yahoo and USA Today and every major newspaper in the country, they're just delighting in writing headlines like this. Consumer sentiment craters further as inflation expectations soar to highest levels since 1981. Now, let's go through that headline, shall we? Consumer sentiment. What is that? That's how consumers feel about the economy. Now, you'd like people to be optimistic about the economy, wouldn't you? I'd like to be optimistic about the economy. Am I? I don't really know, right? Why? Because the tariffs have come in. We've come out of a period where inflation was as high as 9%, but it's never quite gotten back down to 2%, even though it was lower the other day. And the numbers in March, year-over-year numbers, were much lower than economists expected. That's good news. Those are actual numbers, actual data, actual prices people pay. Less than economists expected. What are we talking about here? Consumer sentiment. Feelings. We're talking about feelings. And then they say, people's feelings about the economy have cratered further as inflation expectations. As inflation soars or as inflation expectations soar? See, the media wants Trump to fail. They delight in making you think Trump has failed by writing a headline where they go, oh, consumer sentiment craters as inflation expectations soar. So people are afraid that inflation is going to rise, but they don't have any real data to support their feelings, okay? And they give the numbers, and the numbers are the numbers. People feel, and that's not always good that people feel that way. Well, they hold back their money, they don't spend it or whatever. But I'm just saying, these predictions of a recession, and I'm not saying we won't have one. I don't know. I don't pretend to know. But what I also don't, and this is why it's important to me, my credibility's on the line here. I'm not comfortable when I watch Fox and when I see certain hosts on Fox say, we're not going to have a recession. This is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They don't know, and I don't know. And so I'm going to try not to say those kinds of things. I'm going to try to say what I know, which is that I don't know. That I don't know. Am I concerned? Yeah, I'm concerned. Am I living my life? Yeah. Why? Because the Chinese aren't in control of my life. Donald Trump's not in control of my life. God is in control of my life. And every time I tried to control my life, it went bad, okay? So I've learned to yield, to submit, to humble myself, and to trust, and ride it out, and to ride it out if I need to.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi, consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, equalizing lender, NMLS number 819382. Find us at 989theanswer.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this hour from Temple.com. I'm John Scott. Even as China doubles down in its public posture against President Trump's tariffs on Chinese goods, Asian expert Gordon Chang says China will ultimately lose the battle. The Salem News program This Week on Capitol Hill with Tony Perkins. Chang says America holds all the cards in this standoff.
Yeah, the only thing that China really can do at this point is to intimidate President Trump, to force him to back down. I don't think that our president is going to surrender, though, because he does know that the U.S. market can't be replaced. It is the world's largest. I think President Trump is going to win this, but it is going to be a close contest because the Chinese, as they say, they lose their economy if they lose this tariff war.
Gordon Chang adds that President Trump is never likely to be intimidated by China. His full This Week on Capitol Hill interview will be broadcast starting at 10 a.m. Saturday on the Salem News Channel. Also at townhall.com, a deadly helicopter accident in New York City. More from correspondent Julie Walker.
A family from Spain on a helicopter tour of New York City was killed when it crashed Thursday afternoon in the Hudson River between New York and New Jersey. Officials say 3 children and 3 adults, including the pilot, died. Witness Danny Horbiak. I saw a helicopter and it looked like pieces were falling off. Justin Green, an aviation lawyer who was a Marine helicopter pilot, says video of the crash suggests a catastrophic mechanical failure. Julie Walker, New York.
A measles outbreak in Knox County, Ohio is now sick in 14, and there are measles in 4 Ohio counties. None linked to the Texas outbreak that surpassed 500 cases and has led to the death of 2 children. On Wall Street, the Dow had 79 points, the NASDAQ composite up 87. More at townhall.com.
Cloudy and cool this afternoon. High 42. Tonight, mainly clear skies, chilly, low 32. Cloudy and cool for Saturday. High tomorrow 53. Sunday, clouds, sun, 12. Cloudy and breezy on Monday with occasional rain and a thunderstorm. The high near 70. And for Tuesday, turning colder with clouds, the high 49.
Has the recent storms impacted your house? The Metal Roof Company not only specializes in your insurance company, but also specializes in all trades on the outside of your home. Roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, windows, and in some cases, they install a metal roof for the same price as the shingle. So remember, folks, don't settle, buy metal. Call 614-721-ROOF or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com. With SRN Sports, I'm George Lucas. In the NBA last night, a playoff.
Sorry, I was reading a story about Hunter Biden that I'm going to share in the next segment. So if you want to stick around and see that, then you can go to the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page, and you can go to the 989 The Answer Facebook page. Otherwise, I hope you have a great week.